Joining me today on this episode is Tom Radomski and Melville Clauson of Rebuild Composite Resources Manufacturing. They're a leading manufacturer of thermoset composite structural components and assemblies, and they recently announced a significant expansion with an addition of state-of-the-art RTM. This work cell is located at their South Carolina facility. And this addition further expands their breadth of composite processing technologies to support their customers in aerospace and defense industries. So with that said, I'm glad to have both of you, Tom, Mel, joining me today. Thank you for spending some time on the show and getting us up to date on what's going on with Rebuild.
Excellent. Well, we're glad to be here today.
Get us up to speed on this new RTM facility in South Carolina, if you would.
Certainly. So, Composite Resources as a business has been around since the early 90s, growing out of actually the racing industry originally as a privately held company. And so over the years, we've sort of done almost one of everything, both materials and process sector. We had always wanted to move into the high-end aerospace sector, and RTM is a big part of that, especially with components that are either structural or for aero engine as well, for jet engine. So bringing on this cell from Radius Engineering, an injector and a good sized press, now allows us to do that.
Where's it located in South Carolina?
So Composite Resources has been since early 2000s located in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is just across the border from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So very convenient area to get to for customers, for suppliers, and also a good area for recruiting as well for both our hourly staff and our professional staff as well. There's a lot of good engineering schools down in the southeastern United States, and a lot of those young men and women who come out of there like to stay in the southeast, and so it's definitely a recruiting plus for us.
Yeah.
To be
How far is Clemson? You got Clemson University right there.
Hour and a half. Hour and a half drive, not too far. University of South Carolina, which has a good size composite facility there as well, is about the same distance away. And then, of course, we have Georgia Tech down in Atlanta. That's Tom's alumni.
Okay. All right.
And Clemson, of course, Auburn, a lot of the other schools in the Southeast that have an engineering focus. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this new work cell that features Industry 4.0 data collection. Can you describe how that it will integrate into the manufacturing process?
Yeah, I mean, our real focus with Industry 4.0 is getting into the high-end aerospace market where you need a lot of data on your parts to prove you've produced them with quality and to conformance, but also to really work on process stability. And we're in the early stages of really implementing our processes on our side, but the focus here was buying equipment that was ready for it as we develop our processes to really use Industry 4.0 in the future. As far as the work cell that we've got from Radius Engineering, we only have one at the moment, but we do some RTM work that's traditional pressure pot without the dedicated equipment that just doesn't have the data collection, the consistency that this equipment would give us.
So I'm reading you've got it split the RTM cell into 4x6 individually controlled zones. What specific type of production flexibility does this offer you guys?
Yeah, the platens are split. It's a 4 foot by 12 foot total area.
Yeah.
Part of it is that Radius Engineering have a modular press design, so it helps for them. They do sort of 4x6 modules that are put together. That gives us some additional advantages because we can operate the two zones independently. So we could have a large mold in one zone and maintain the other half having a slightly shorter daylight for doing some test molds, flat panels, any sort of certification work.
Sure.
So it gives us some flexibility on processing.
This is a brand new building. Basically, we have walls and windows.
Yeah.
So as we're looking to move, this equipment became available, and it became pretty clear pretty quickly that it wasn't going to fit in the existing building without a major redo. So we chose this as the first work cell to move into the building. And Tom was actually involved recently, just a few weeks ago, in the installation and the startup. And we're making components already on this machine. It's lonely in a big building, but
Yeah.
It's a start. It's a
Yeah,
start.
absolutely.
From a business end, anyways.
Mhm.
What we've seen already is as we were tightening the bolts on basically locking the machine down, we already had several fairly significant aerospace based programs already under contract. So that's been real exciting for us.
That is.
We've been looking to move into the aero engine world, and we already have a pretty significant long-term application that we have under contract for that we'll be bringing on board here in the next year or so.
Mhm.
And with all the work that's going on in the eVTOL space, of course, there's rotors and fan blades everywhere, as I'm sure anybody who's looked at those vehicles has seen.
Yeah.
And we already have some of that work under contract as well. And
That's
possibly, and possibly in some other areas as well. Usually, RTM parts are near net molded structural parts. So, it's not the typical secondary structure parts that you would see that would be a cover for something or something simpler. These are high-end parts with a lot of requirements and a lot of requirements for design and safety behind them. So no, it's been very exciting. The feedback, Cassie, who's our marketing person, she was involved with getting our press release out that Composite World was kind enough to get out on their daily newsletter.
Yeah.
And from the day that went out, we've been getting inquiries. So we're very excited about where this is going for us. So.
Well, this is exciting. So I've got a picture pulled up.
This is during the sign off at Radius's facility. So not quite our facility yet.
Okay.
But so what you're seeing there is the 4x12 press in the center with its HMI controller in the front, right in the front. To the left of that is a carriage or a shuttling system for moving molds in and out of the press. And on your right is your multi-component injector system. So that's connected with the press and controlled through the central HMI. So you can set up recipes and control all the pieces of equipment from one interface.
The facility is how many square foot?
So we're moving this year. We're currently in a 60,000 square foot facility, but we're moving this year about 5 miles up the road to a facility that was built actually at the start of COVID, and the company that did it never moved in. So it was about a 200,000 square foot in total high bay facility. We're taking over 130,000 square foot of that to start with, anyways. But we're doubling our manufacturing footprint space, and along with that, we're adding people at a pretty high rate. If you go back to when Tom and I first started at Composite Resources around the 2015, 2016 timeframe, we had, I don't know, maybe 30 people, Tom, in the facility, and as of today, we're close to 130 people.
Wow.
So South Carolina loves those jobs, and so they're glad we're here, and it's exciting for us. Just the complexity and breadth of customers, the interesting applications we're working on, and the ability to grow into the future with a business section in aerospace and defense, and space as well. It's just it's very busy. It's a good place to be.
Exciting time, right? I mean, You guys were with the company before Rebuilt, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that you all have seen a lot of changes. You said it was bought in 2021.
Correct.
It's great to have the investment. I'm sure from your standpoint, the investment and support to really push towards a lot of these higher end technologies.
Well, that's one of the driving things actually is having that strong parent behind us.
Yeah.
Rebuild is not that old actually. I mean, the company only started in 2020.
Right.
And we were the second or third acquisition that they brought on, and now there are over a dozen companies, including adding sites, greenfield, expanding existing sites in several locations, including ours, and then also starting up greenfield, brownfield sites across, with the focus on U.S.-based technology and manufacturing.
Yeah.
We actually, I don't know if you're aware, but we have stood up a facility in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Which was actually the original Alcoa manufacturing site in the United States. That facility had been abandoned for quite a few years, and so along with the state of Pennsylvania, who is their interest, of course, is in job development in that area.
Of course,
we've rehabbed the first 175,000 square feet, and bringing that on as primarily right now as a machining center of excellence. But we have several 100,000 more square feet that we can expand into. So we run around. I run around in particular saying your part's here, and because we definitely have the space to support that kind of work, and for the right business cases, we have the capital to support that as well.
That's fantastic.